Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Erin Casey, who is the director of the Writers' Rooms, which we'll talk about in a minute, but also coordinating Imagine Other Worlds with Authors. See what we did there? I.O.W.A, which is a virtual author event coming up this weekend. Erin, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so delighted to be here today.
Before we talk about Imagine Other Worlds with Authors, tell me a little bit about the writers' rooms, because this has been it's kind of based in Iowa City, and
hmm
it's been going on for several years, and it's a support mechanism for people who want to write.
Yes. In short, the Writers' Rooms is a nonprofit corporation that focuses on providing a free, safe environment to all writers, no matter skill set, gender, income, race, etc. We are very welcoming to basically everybody. The way that our rooms are set up is that we have individual what we call rooms that are genre specific. So, for example, our Violet Realm is sci fi fantasy, our Golden Attic is poetry, and our Lightless Corridor is horror and mystery. And our rooms meet for 2 hours in the evening. The first hour is typically a lesson from the one of the concierges who leads the meeting, or a member of the community. We encourage the community to also share lessons because we all have a story to share. And then the second half of the 2 hours, we usually focus on just writing together. So our rooms happen multiple times a month, which we have our calendar filled with it on our website at thewritersrooms.org. The Writers' Rooms itself actually started out under the I.O.W.A Writers House that was run by Andrea Wilson, and we started the rooms off with the Violet Realm and another one. And we realized after a few months that the writers' rooms was going in another direction, like it was starting to turn into its own thing. So the writers' rooms branched off and became its own organization back in, oh goodness, how many years has it been? I think it was 2000, oh, 16 maybe. I've lost track of it.
It
Between
seems like it's always been here.
yes, exactly. Between working with the writers' rooms and the I Writers House, it's like the timelines all kind of merged together. But so we separated amicably, of course, and we supported each other. And the writers' rooms has just been kind of going and growing over the years, where we started with 2 rooms, and then we have about 7 now, and we're also doing the I.O.W.A event. We're doing some publications. We do some readings. So there's a lot of different things that happens at the writers' rooms.
The Iowa Writers Festival, Imagine Other Worlds with Authors, is something that
Yes.
had been a going concern. And people with long memories on KCCK know that I've interviewed the organizers of that periodically through the years. But this is the first year that the Writers' Rooms has coordinated, yes?
Second year.
Second
Second
year.
year.
Oh, okay.
Yes. We that was actually handed over to us by Terry LeBlanc and Dana Beatty 2 years ago, and we had our first session at the Cedar Rapids Public Library last year, 2019, in September, I believe. And we were going to have it at the Cedar Rapids Public Library again this year until COVID hit.
So,
So
like
we
everything
decided,
else,
yeah.
it's become kind of a virtual online thing.
hmm We decided pretty early that we were going to go ahead and do a virtual event, just because we were concerned about would the library be open? Authors would have to travel. They'd have to find places to stay, and our biggest concern was making sure that both the authors were safe and the readers, the audience was safe as well. So probably around June, maybe even a little bit sooner, we were like, we're just going to make this virtual. So we we went from planning an in-person event to completely switching over to virtual, which was quite the endeavor.
So tell me how this is going to look. How are people going to participate? What kind of events are you going to have when you can't get together in person?
So we decided to do a little bit of a mix of pre-recording and live events. This was to take some stress off of the authors, so it'd be a little bit easier to prepare beforehand, but also still give people a chance to talk to the authors kind of one-on-one on the day of the events. I was being held November 7th and 8th from 5 a.m. to, not 5 a.m., 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. both days. And we have some pre-events that are going on right now that started on the 2nd of November and goes until the 6th. Our pre events include recordings from local bookstores that are talking about what their bookstores provide, what kind of programs are available, and also some of them talk about what they're doing during COVID and how you can help them. Um, during these difficult times. So those videos are featured at noon each day on our Facebook page, uh, facebook.com/IA Other Worlds. And this is where all the events are going to be held. We have the schedule there and everything. You'll find all the information there. The days of Iowa, which is the actual author signing event, we're going to have a mixture of author readings, which those are the pre-recorded videos. However, the authors are going to be present during that time. So if you have questions, they'll be there to answer them. So you'll still be able to have a little bit of a one on one experience with them. Some of the authors are also doing some fantastic giveaways as well. So be sure to check those out. We also will have panels, live panels during the day that include Ask an Author. So you can ask authors any questions. We have writing. Diversity and writing is one of the panels, marketing 101, world building 101, and those will happen between both of the days. We also have a special video from Meredith Crawford at the Cedar Rapids Public Library where she talks about book clubs and how to create them and the importance of them as well. We'll have a fun kind of trivia hour on the second day where we're going to be doing some giveaways from both the Cedar Rapids Public Library and the writers' rooms. This includes mugs, totes, notebooks, and a lot of fun stuff from the library that we're excited to share with the community. So it should be a pretty exciting 2 days. There's definitely going to be a lot to do, a lot of authors to meet, and some games to play.
Well, and I've been sandbagging a little bit because full disclosure, yeah, I was lucky enough to get in as one of the featured authors because I released my latest book literally 4 days before everything shut down in March, which I do not recommend. That's going to be the main
No.
thing. That's going to be the main thing that I will say when I'm on the marketing panel is I would suggest not launching your book 2 days before a pandemic.
Yeah, it's hard
Spoilers,
enough to launch a
spoilers for
book
my
at
role on the
any
panel.
time. Yeah.
Uh, so you said there are 24 authors?
Yes, there are 24 authors that are across many different genres. So we have sci-fi, science fiction, we have fantasy, poetry, nonfiction, fiction, thriller, mystery, like pretty much anything that you could want, you can find there. If you check out our Facebook page, you'll find pictures of the different authors who will be there, their bios, as well as information about like who's a sci-fi author, who's a fantasy author, and as um, some of them are actually cross genres too. So you'll see faces popping up in multiple cards. But it's I mean, it's one of those things where I think anybody can find something interesting out of Iowa, some kind of book that catches their attention. Um all of our authors, we provide bios for them as well. So, just a little bit about the actual recordings for the authors. It'll feature a small bio about them, and then they'll do a recording talking about themselves as an author. Some people have done interviews with others. Some are giving us a little bit of a house tour and where they get their creative juices from. And it's really fascinating to see how each author decides to present themselves. So yeah, I've watched all the videos, and all the social media for these authors will be available so you can follow them and learn more about them and their books even after the event.
So the event is Imagine Other Worlds with Authors, Iowa, featuring 24 authors. And like I said, full disclosure, one of them is me. Thank you again for letting me do that. Hey, before we go, talk about your writing for just a minute. You promote, you promote all the other writers and probably don't ever hardly get a chance to talk about what you do. So take a couple of minutes here before we go and tell us about author Erin Casey.
Sure. So I'm an urban fantasy author. I am the author of the Purple Door District series. I have two books out right now. The first one called The Purple Door District. The second is Wolf Pit, which just came out last year. The third book I am currently working on during Nano. I had hoped to put it out this year, but a personal loss, unfortunately, kind of caused me to deviate a little bit from my writing. But the stories are set in modern day Chicago, full of werebirds, werewolves, vampires, magi, witches, pretty much all the urban fantasy characters that you would like to find. So the third book will complete this trilogy, but it's also a part of a larger series called Fates and Furies that I'm co-writing with A.E. Keller. So that those books will hopefully start coming out once the third book in the Purple Door District is complete. I actually will be featuring some of my books during Iowa as well, so you can learn more about me and where I come from. And you'll probably hear lots of birds squawking in the video as well, because I am the crazy bird lady, as people like to say, and that is why my first book has a werebird in it as the main character. But yeah, no, primarily write urban fantasy and fantasy. I'm currently queering a YA fantasy LGBT dragon book, so we'll see how that goes.
You you reference Nano, which is short for NaNoWriMo, and that is
Mhm,
National November Novel Writing Month. So the timing of Iowa is really good because anybody who maybe
mhm.
thinks they might want to write a book and would like to hear some stories from people who are just like them who said, well, I might want to write a book someday. November is a perfect time to think about it and to get started.
Yes. National Novel Writing Month is amazing. You have to try to write 50,000 words in 1 month, which is basically the length of a novella. The Writers' Rooms has actually been teaming up with the municipal liaisons of Cedar Rapids, who are leading the Nano group there. We'll be putting on some writing sessions this month as well. So keep an eye out on the Writers' Rooms page, because we'll let you know when we're going to have writing room available. So Nano has always been real important to our group. So usually this month we don't do lessons in our rooms because we're focusing on helping people with Nano, encouraging them to write during those 2 hours when we would usually do a lesson together.
So, whether you are interested maybe in writing yourself or just want to get some ideas for some fun books to read that are written by local and regional authors, we shop small, we should read small too and support local authors. So it's Imagine Other Worlds with Authors, facebook.com/IA Other Worlds. And it with pre-events going on now, and then the main sessions will be Saturday and Sunday, the 7th and the 8th. Yes?
Yes.
Well,
So
Erin,
we are so excited to have you guys, and we can't wait to see anybody who shows up, or everybody who shows up and talks with our authors.
and I'm looking forward to it as a author and as a fan too. So it's going to be a fun weekend with Iowa. Facebook.com/IA Other Worlds this Saturday and Sunday. Erin Casey, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks so much. You have a great night.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast app. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.